Alright guys, well, I would say today is a good day. Like I said, I tuned the car already, so that was one thing. And now, right now, what we're gonna do is the install of my cold air intake. So this might be a little bit confusing, but this is all the same day as the last video. I'm just doing a couple different things. So I'm going to do tuning for one, the intake for another, and there might be a third one, there might not. But I'd say let's just get right into the unboxing and installation. Fun. So as you can see right now, it's kind of loud. Like I said, I have full exhaust. So we're going to be replacing the intake really quickly, and hopefully you can hear a lot more turbo noise. And as you heard, there's not very much. So let's just get right into it. Alright, so like I said, unboxing is kind of another favorite part, because you get to see what's inside, and that's where all the magic happens. What the? Oh, great. I'm really smart. There were 3 levels. Race division, I really hope I got that one. Traditional intake and SP intake. I'm gonna assume that I got the race division. Really hope I did. Important notices, not that important. Oh, look, all the couplers, tubings, and all that fun stuff. Instructions. And here's the beautiful blue filter that matches my car, and the polished chrome tubing. Perfect. I'm gonna assume that's the race division, and it's a tuned injen. That's pretty cool. So let's just get right into it. It shouldn't be that hard. Just follow the instructions pretty much. So to take the stock Airbox out, it's pretty simple. You disconnect the MAF sensor, and you're also eventually later going to need to take out the 2 screws so you can put it into the new piping, but I'll show you that later. There is a band here that you'll need to screw out, and it's going to be a flathead. And there's also a rubber piece right down here at the bottom of the Airbox and back here, and those will just slide out. But there's also, if you can see down here, there's a tube. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a tube at the bottom that's connected to the Airbox. Disconnect that, and that'll just stay disconnected because it has nothing else to connect to. So like I was saying, band or clamp, sensor, tube, and it'll all just come out. Alright, so the next couple steps are, you see this seal right here where the Airbox used to be. So you're going to pop these out. There's some clips, like I think 3. 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to take those out and remove that. And then also you're going to have to take the wheel off. And there are some screws under here in clips. Sorry, you couldn't see that. But some screws and clips under there, and you gotta take those off so that you can reach. I'll show you once I get in there, but there's a box that's down in here. You can kind of feel it when you put your hand down there. But you gotta remove that box because that's where the new intake goes for the injen specific for a first gen cruze injen cold air intake. So I'll just show you once I get to that point. Again, if you do end up getting this intake, in the instructions, which I kind of read and was really confused and I almost didn't do it till tomorrow, it tells you that you have to remove the front bumper. But like I was doing, you can just remove the wheel and get in by taking off the inner fender, and that'll take care of it. It's pretty simple, instead of having to remove the whole front bumper. So it's listen to the instructions, but also just listen to me, because I read the instructions. I'm doing everything the same, except I'm also not removing the front bumper because it saves a lot more time. Let's get back into it. So I forgot about a couple screws down here. So there will be a clip right here. Mine just broke off. There will be a screw right here and also right there underneath on the underside, as well as 1, 2, 3 screws that I talked about earlier. And then the under or inner fender should just pop right out. So next, like I was saying, this will pop right out. Here is the box that I was talking about. Obviously it's very dirty. As you can tell, it'll just come right down because that other part you're gonna pull up out of the top. But this box will come down, and that's where the actual filter of the cold air intake will sit. And then once you're done with that, you'll keep this open so you can put the filter in later. Alright, so next there are 2 different sized couplers and rings. So obviously the 2 bigger rings go with the bigger coupler, and the smaller rings, which are already on there, go with the smaller coupler. So first you'll put one coupler on the throttle body and you'll tighten it down on the bottom. And then you'll put the other one on the coupler already until you put the first set of piping on. And then later you'll connect the 2 couplers, which I'll show you in a second once I have the pipe put on and it tightened down, and then I'll show you once I put these on as well. Alright, so I got that tightened up down there in the throttle body, and obviously you'll be using the injen tube first, the longer one that extends from, like I said, the throttle body over, and then you got the bigger coupler with the bigger tighteners down on the bigger piping, which goes down where I was showing you earlier, where I'm going to connect the actual filter itself. So one thing that I forgot to do is before you put the pipe, the new pipe down there, it comes with this taping off right here. It's like a rubber gasket kind of, and you want to tape off that, and it just slips right on, so it's pretty easy. It kind of protects the piping from getting scratched up or cut or anything like that. And then there's also this not spacer, but it connects it's a connector for the extension right here, and it just holds the pipe in place. So you also want to put that in before the pipe goes in, because there's a bolt that goes down here and a nut screws onto it, so you can't do that with the piping on. If you can, you're impressive, but do that before you put the pipe on, and then you put the pipe on, screw that on top of that, and the nut that goes on it is a 10mm, so that's pretty simple. And then once you get done with that, you can either put the sensor in here or the air filter on, one or the two. Those are basically the last steps, and I'll show you in whatever order I end up doing it. So next, like I was saying, you're going to pull the sensor out of the old Airbox, which is right here, and it's only 2 screws to come out on the top and bottom, and you don't even need to use those because it comes with 2 new ones. But if for some reason yours doesn't, then just use the old ones. The reason for that is those are a lot longer screws, these are not, and I think the size is a little bit different too. So it's pretty simple, just put it back in the way that you found it right there, and it should screw right back in. Alright, so this one's really fun. It's pretty simple. It just slides on. Make sure you have the, sorry, it's hard to see. Make sure you have the coupler or the tight fastener on first, on the actual filter itself first. Slide it on all the way until it stops. It won't move. And then once you have it tightened all the way down, pull. It won't come off. The actual pipe itself tends to move a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, it won't be perfect, but that's fine as long as it's not going to come flying off. Make sure it's tightened everywhere where it's supposed to be. Doesn't come out of there. Those two don't come out from each other. That's good. And then connect the sensor. This red clip is important. That locks it in place. Retighten everything down and you should be good to go. And we'll do a first startup. We'll do a startup real quick, but I am going to not do a lot of sounds until tomorrow because it is kind of late here. So, good morning and welcome back. This is still the same video. I know it's a separate day, but like I said, it's really dark. Now I'm going to be doing all my sound clips. So as you can see, everything is installed properly. It looks great. And now we're going to do a couple sound clips. I'm going to be honest, I did go out last night and I ran it for a little bit. Sounded amazing. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, which is very critical, even though you're not doing a ton of electrical work, disconnect the negative battery. That'll reset all of your systems, and if you don't do that, immediately a check engine light will come on and it'll freak out, the fan will turn on, it just won't be happy. Luckily I have a tuner, so I was able to clear all the check engine lights, but make sure you have the battery disconnected during this whole process, reconnect it at the end. If it still doesn't work, re-disconnect it, or just clear your check engine lights and then you'll have zero problems. So let's start it up and listen to it. So you can also hear it a lot more while you're driving. My neighbors are probably gonna hate me, but you can hear it a lot more while you're driving. My exhaust sound, oh man, I hate when it does that. Anyways, you can hear it a lot more while you're driving, and you can hear the turbo a lot more. Ooh. Sorry about that. Fogged up, sorry. But anyways, you can hear that. You can hear more of the turbo. It sounds really good. I'm really happy with it so far. I guess let's go get a couple pulls on it and see how it sounds. Alright, well, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's a lot more turbo noise, and it honestly... has a little bit, kind of almost like a blow-off sound. It's like that release of pressure. Like if I get just the right shift, you just hear and it's a good sound, good turbo sound, good all around. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm gonna try and get another angle with my camera instead of my phone, which you guys are on right now, and hopefully I can get that a lot better. So I'll give it another pull real quick and see. Woo! Oh, it sounds so good. Oh, that cold air intake, one of the best things to install. And if you didn't have an exhaust on it, be even better, because that's all you would hear is just
turbo noise, and that's it. Next thing for me for this car is definitely going to be a blow-off valve. That'll just add to the turbo noise that I really like, and those sounds in between shifts. Oh, beautiful. So change to my other camera real quick, see if I can get you guys some more sounds. If you can hear it on here, great. I'll get you some more. Try and do it out the window. Probably a little bit illegal since I'm driving as well. But right now, you're on my phone on a mount. Look, both my hands are free. So you can't get on me, Hannah. I'm doing this fine.